Welcome back to Viking Football with Bruce Barnum as the Vikings get ready to play the Idaho State Bengals this Saturday at Hillsboro Stadium. It is a 7 p.m. game. Portland State on a 3-game winning streak and doing very, very well, Coach. And I think the great thing about Saturday's win at Sacramento State, you got good play in all 3 phases of the game.
They did. Again, Mike, I'm glad we're talking about it, but we're getting better every week, you know. Sure, we weren't happy with some things. Some red zone wasn't 100%, et cetera, but turnovers by the defense. Offense, you know, scored enough to get out of there with a win. And special teams, we had a block punt. We had some good things happen.
Offense well over 500 yards of total offense. And again, the defense 6 3-and-outs, a couple forced turnovers, special teams, a block punt, a couple field goals. It all added up to a big victory at Sacramento State. And, Coach, we saw those highlight runs by Jelani Eason, and I know we talked beforehand about some guys whose names you don't hear, and a guy who did a good job on the offensive line, a guy who's playing well on the defensive line. Let's talk about that. You mentioned Peter Fisher-Keller making a big block on Jelani Eason's 82-yard touchdown.
He did. It was either a -2 or a +82. You see Pete Fisher-Keller, backside tackle, he comes down, retraces, and blocks their safety, who was about to hit Jelani, and he sprung him. So we had to give him the Dots Crunch Pretzel Player of the Week.
And you have to feel good about it. A senior who has spent the majority of his career as a backup has stepped in as a starter this year and played really, really well.
He is. Great story. Him, and then you have Larry Ross on the defensive line, 2 guys who toughed it out, kept working. Now they're shining for the Vikes.
Yeah, Larry Ross, a defensive end who's played very well this year, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback and those types of things. Let's talk a little bit now about Idaho State. The Vikings playing an entirely different opponent this week, a team, maybe the best offensive team they'll face all year. All kinds of weapons over there when you talk about the quarterback, Tanner Geller, his brother Mitch, who's a wide receiver, Michael Dean, another great wide receiver, and then they've got not one but 2 great running backs, James Madison, Ty Flanagan. It's a tough ask for the Vikings when you talk about all of those offensive weapons.
It is. It's Bengal week, you know, and the Bengals are putting up a lot of points. So good for them. Great challenge for us. But they're lighting it up. It doesn't matter who they play. So it'll be a challenge for our defense. And if it turns into that type of game, we're going to have to try to keep up, you know, offensively. But they are. You mentioned their names, but those kids are playing well. They got some juice going right now in Holt Arena, and they're coming to Hillsboro. See what we can do.
Idaho State averaging nearly 40 points per game, so the Vikings are going to have to turn it up offensively. And actually, they have done that in recent weeks, and I think you have to feel pretty good about getting more players incorporated in your offense. We can talk about the 2 quarterbacks who played so well together in their roles. Davis Alexander and Jelani Eason, each making big contributions.
They are. We're trying our best to utilize their skill set, you know. One's got the big arm. He sees the field very well, but doesn't run quite as well as Jelani. Not that Jelani doesn't see the field, but Jelani is one of the fastest on the field. So we designed some things for him and see how the defense adjusts to them to see what to match it up with. But I'm happy with how they're playing symbiotically, you know, against or with each other. They've come together. It's cool to see.
And then on defense, we've had some great performances from your defense, but this is a whole different animal that they're going to be dealing with this week. And Coach Sadat, I'm sure he's spending a few extra hours in the film room trying to figure out how to cover all these Bengals who are able to make big plays.
I don't know if you're going to cover them all. They do a hell of a job, but we had some time. When that bus broke down on the freeway coming back, Mike, we had a little extra time to plug them up on the iPads. But no, seriously, serious note, like you said, the Bengals are lighting up right now. So it's going to be a major challenge, you know. But still got to come play. You got to play the game, you know, the statistics and what they're lighting up. I like how our defense is playing right now. But they do have a challenge this week.
And if you look at the standings, Idaho State 4-1. They are tied for second place. They're battling for a postseason berth. But let's take a look at the Vikings. They've won 3 in a row, now 3-2 in the Big Sky. Portland State in 5th place. And this is a 13-team conference, so that's a pretty good spot to be. If you can get a victory this Saturday, you'll be no worse than 4th place and maybe even better. So this is a big game for Idaho State, but I think it's a big game for Portland State as it tries to reestablish itself in the Big Sky.
Of course it is. We're in week 10, of college football, and we're still in the hunt, we still have a shot. Talk to the players about that Sunday, and I think it helped the focus even more. Not that they need it in practice right now, because this group's personality, offense, defense, special teams, the personality in the locker room, it's taking care of itself. Finally getting back to a program around here.
And after some hard times, now getting back in the winning mode, how have things changed? Is there a different approach in practice? Is there kind of a different outlook on what you're doing on a day-to-day basis?
Not at all, honestly. You and I talked about this plan 5 years ago, how we were going to try to do it, et cetera, and there was going to be the ups and downs, and it's not what happens to you, it's how you react. So, and it's been good for the kids, blocking out the noise and where are we? Are we that good? Yeah, they are, but it starts off the field, and we have a great group of kids. Teaching them how to be winners there, and it's going to translate onto the field. And you're seeing a taste of that now.
And really the beauty of it as the Vikings start to improve is you're going to see the majority of these guys back next year and the year after that, because it's still a very, very young group.
We don't lose many at all. We've got one more class of seniors that, were from the prior regime, but playing well, but there's not that many of them. So we aren't losing many. We are, not just me, very excited for the future of Viking football.
Okay, what's the emphasis for Saturday night playing Idaho State, powerhouse offensive team? They've given up a few points as well, so you hope the Viking offense can get rolling too and match them. But what's going to be the key to that game?
Let's start with turnovers. Our defense is giving us short fields right now, giving us the ball, more than we usually get with the turnover situation. So we have to continue that. The film watch going on right now, I love, and it's already here on a Tuesday. Usually Tuesday's practice is a little muddy, but I liked how the defense was communicating and running around to what Idaho State does. That offensively, I think we need to be not perfect. You can't be perfect. Well, you can be, but third down efficiency. It's got to be over 50% just to keep them off the field. Their offense is very dynamic, on top of the conference. So if they're on the bench, they're not doing much. I know that. So between that and the field position battle, tilting the field back and forth, who's got the short field, who has a long one, hopefully it's going to be a battle Saturday night.
All right, there it is. The Vikings will go after a 4th straight win this Saturday, 7 p.m., Hillsboro Stadium. You can see the game on Pluto TV, watchbigsky.com. It's also going to be televised on 11 Sports on various cable and satellite networks. You'll have to look up your satellite or cable system to find out if you get that particular channel. You can also hear the game on 103.7 FM, The Legend. But what we really want you to do is come out to Hillsboro Stadium and support these Vikings Saturday night. Also want to remind you, Viking Football Luncheon Friday at noon, Old Spaghetti Factory downtown. For more information on Viking football, go to govikes.com.